Emy and this is Mugshots Now, a modern digital Filipino media platform. Watch life from a new perspective, bringing a new flavor of fun, a new revolution of entertainment, giving you our best shot. Ask the expert. Health is a state of body, wellness is a state of being by Jay Stanford. The Mugshots Now would like to thank Dermacare Face and Body Laser, Dr. Carolina Escurel of Escurel Dental Clinic, and Andy Pasion of Andy Pasion Bros. Mga ka-Mugshots! Welcome to MugPahaba ng Buhay every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Ang episode natin ngayon ay tungkol sa vaping. Ligtas ba? Ang makakasama natin today ay isang magaling na doktora. Siya ay isang Pulmonary Critical Care Specialist na nag-aral sa Memorial Sloan Kettering sa New York at siya ngayon ay nagpo-practice sa St. Luke's, Quezon City. Let us all welcome Dr. Anna York Bundoc. Hi, Dr. Anna!
Hi, Doc Emy. Thanks for guesting us today and we are excited to share with you and your viewers yung aming pong views sa e-cigarettes, kung ligtas ba siya talaga o hindi.
Okay. Hi, Dr. Anna. Actually, ang dami kong questions tungkol sa e-cigarette kasi may mga friends ako na dating smokers. Ngayon, nakikita ko yung gamit na nila ay e-cigarette. Ano ba talaga, Doc, ang e-cigarette?
Well, e-cigarettes or vaping is another form of smoking. And ginawa po ito because as the years have gone by at nalaman ng mga tao the dangers of smoking, the industry nag-evolve siya. The industry evolved the product and came up with what we now call to be e-cigarettes or tinatawag nating e-smoking or vaping. So ano nga ba ang e-cigarettes and how do they work? Well, they deliver the same or similar product as a cigarette pero in another form. Some of them, one of the things na very striking sa kanila, naiba yung anyo nila from the traditional cigarettes. Alam natin, we all know what a traditional cigarette looks like. Pero magugulat tayo na yung mga e-cigarettes, they are now colored. Some of them look very techy like USB and computer devices. And maraming magagandang kulay, shiny, metallic, they are tiny, they are actually considered cute. And they also come in a variety of flavors. So we may not realize it and parents actually do not know na itong e-cigarettes or kaya nga iniba na nga vapes ang tawag nila is that they are trying to market them differently from cigarettes pero actually they contain components of the same dangerous substances that can harm both adults and now ang kanilang primary marketing target which is the youth.
How does it work ba, Doc? Kasi di ba it's parang less mausok siya than the traditional cigarette. So how does e-cigarette work pa?
There are three elements actually. One is heat, the other one is the liquids that will be heated, no? So it's a liquid form usually, merong heat source, either usually batteries. And then because of the actions of the heat source on the liquids, it becomes aerosolized and yun ang nakikita nating vapors. So if there's a liquid, there's a heat source, and then lumalabas yung vapors at yun ang nalalangkap ng mga kabataan when they vape or when they smoke.
Pero meron pa rin po ba, Doc Anna, ng mga nicotine, itong e-cigarette, or wala na?
Then, okay, ganito yun. There are tobacco-less products and there are products with tobacco. Yung sa Altria or Philip Morris is IQOS, which is a heated tobacco substance. So whether or not they do have tobacco, another substance of concern is the nicotine, no? So some of them are labeled with nicotine. So aminado na silang with nicotine. Merong mga nakalagay without nicotine, but upon investigation po ng mga advocates, mga doktor, tinitingnan nila, some of them actually contain nicotine despite being labeled non-nicotine. So worrisome na yun, na mislabeling ng mga products. Aside from that, nicotine and tobacco are not the only harmful substances dito sa ating e-cigarettes. There are other chemicals in the liquids that are dangerous. Sometimes they may not be dangerous pag hindi na initan, pero once they become aerosolized and we inhale them into our lungs, nakaka-harm ito sa ating mga baga. So what are these substances? Propylene glycol, glycerin, nicotine, as I mentioned. Yung mga flavors, they are not meant to be aerosolized. Some of them can be very harmful to our lungs. And of course, a lot of these are found to be eventually carcinogenic. So yung sinasabi po nating vapor, and kung minsan nagkakamali tayo kasi my own nurse during a webinar said hindi po mabaho ang e-cigarettes. And mabango pa nga, di ba? Because the flavors, there's menthol, there are strawberry, kung ano-ano, talagang nakakaakit siya. But despite not smelling bad, hindi natin alam na yung mga substances that were aerosolized are actually harmful to our lungs.
Pero safer ba siya, Doc? Compared sa traditional cigarette, masasabi niyo bang safer siya?
Well, that is one of the marketing techniques talaga ng ating pong e-cigarettes. And take note, Philip Morris already brought 1/3 of Juuls, Juul, which is the largest in the worldwide, ng ating mga bagong vaping devices. So it's already owned by a cigarette company. So what do you think that means? So no, it is not true that it's marami nagsasabi it's 95% safe for mommy, so I can vape. No, don't believe that. Yes, it might contain lesser amounts of harmful substances. Pero, this is often said by advocates and doctors, kung lason ba yung isang bagay, okay lang ba na mas konti yung lason na iinumin natin or i-inhale natin, di ba? Lason is lason. We do not want to put any of these substances into our lungs. And secondly, more than the substance itself, it is the actions and the addictions that are worrisome, yung psychological effects. Kasi in the US, the Juuls were hit by napakaraming civil suits by parents kasi na-shock sila na kanilang underage children, mga teens, ganoon, were already unable to stop using these vaping substances. Basically, na-addict ang mga bata. And it is so easy to move from these to other, halimbawa, non-nicotine daw. Next thing you know, may nicotine na. After that, unfortunately, studies have also shown that we can now vape illegal drugs and substances. Napakadali. Once you learn the habit, who knows what you're putting in there next. So it's really not safe. And the substances itself are not safe. And the behavior itself is very worrisome, and it is indeed an addictive behavior.
So, Doc Anna, if you are actually vaping, are you more prone to mga lung diseases or flu or COVID because of your vaping?
Sige, puntahan muna natin yung COVID. Definitely, smokers and vapors, studies have shown that smokers and vapors, kasi pareho lang naman yung substances doon, nakaunti lang ng konti. Talagang sila, they are indeed more prone to serious COVID, being hospitalized, being in the ICU, being intubated, and eventually dying. So COVID pa lang yan. Not to mention the other lung diseases, because definitely humihina yung baga mo once you put substances in your lung na hindi dapat doon. So yes, definitely, siguro pag-usapan na lang natin ng COVID, yes. If you smoke or vape, definitely you are more prone to serious COVID. And therefore, if you are a smoker or a vapor, you should seek to get yourself vaccinated as soon as possible kasi talagang high risk ang sitwasyon mo.
Ano ba, Doc, yung mga potential harm of vaping? Kasi syempre we know sa mga cigarettes, di ba, nandun siya sa mga cigarette pack na talagang will cause lung cancer. How about vaping? Ano yung potential harm of
Well,
vaping?
we are working also towards graphic warnings on vapes. Okay, hindi pa lang But definitely yung short-term effects kasi because vaping is so new, we are only aware as of the moment of the short-term effects. And these are towards the lungs, increasing infections, merong mga allergies, merong pumutok na ng mga vapes, ganon. And there have also been people na nagkaroon ng chronic lung diseases and their only history is vaping nung nabuksan yung baga at sama rin ng itsura. Okay, so it's not good. So those are what we know of the short-term side effects. But what is really scary is, because it's just so new, less than 10 years to 15 years lang ang vaping, wala pa tayong cumulative knowledge of the long-term side effects. Right now, we're not even 100% sure that it can cause certain cancers. But are we gonna wait for the proof? Diba? The same substances that are in cigarettes are in vapes, kaya lang mas konti lang. So, but we still don't actually know kung ano siya magiging 10, 20, or 30 years down the line. But what we do know is that the behavior itself is addictive.
Okay, so yung next question natin, can e-cigarette help me quit smoking? So
Nako.
Anna will answer that after the break. And we're back. Welcome again to Magpahaba ng Buhay. Ako si Doc Emy. And our topic for today is vaping. Ligtas ba? With Dr. Anna York Bundoc, a pulmonary critical care specialist. So yung last question po natin is, can e-cigarette help me quit smoking? That's our last question that we had before we took a break. Doc Anna.
Doc Emy, thank you for asking that question. At napakaganda talagang tanong yan. Because a lot of smokers are thinking, and this is the way that they're marketing it now, na if you want to stop smoking, then it might be a good idea to switch to a less harmful substance, which would be an e-cigarette. Unfortunately, studies have shown ngayon sa UK and some countries that have licensed the e-cigarette as a smoking cessation device, nalaman nila na yes, lumipat yung mga tao sa e-cigarettes. Kaya lang, nakasampung taon na, nandun pa rin sila sa e-cigarettes sa tumitigil. Okay? So, nalalaman nila na situational pala. For example, mag-isa ka lang, then you are smoking real cigarettes. During, let's say, other social occasions and events, you may be smoking e-cigarettes so that it would be more acceptable sa makakasama mo. But actually, you are turning out to be a dual smoker or a situational smoker. So, palipat-lipat ka lang, depende kung anong nangyayari between real cigarettes and e-cigarettes. And there have been cases naman of people na talagang lumipat naman to si e-cigarettes, but as I mentioned, napakahaba ng katagalan. And I received somebody who mentioned to me na yung husband niya 10 years na daw sa vaping from Marlboro Lights, hindi pa rin tumitigil. So basically, this is a sign that it is an addictive substance. It would be better to quit using nicotine replacement like gum or just to quit straight out altogether. And it would be much better than to try and move on to e-cigarettes and then get stuck on e-cigarettes. So pareho lang talaga. You are still addicted to something and that something still has nicotine substances. This is, I wanted to bring up something else, it's very dangerous for non-smokers to start vaping kasi that is the start of the smoking behavior and doon na siya mag-escalate. So basically, it's not a good step for people who are smokers wanting to quit, and it is especially very bad for persons who have never smoked who move on to vaping because that will move them on to other stronger substances and more addictive in that manner.
How about, Doc Anna, in terms of secondhand smoke? Kasi we know that cigarette smoking, you can get secondhand smoke from cigarette smoking. How about sa e-cigarettes or vaping? Is there also such a thing as a secondhand smoke?
Yes, meron din, Unfortunately, it is really still so new. So wala pa rin tayong proven studies on secondhand smoke. But definitely, nalalanghap talaga ng mga katabi mo yon. And another super scary thing about vaping is, pinagpapasapasahan yung vapes or yung shista at yung iba't pang mga devices. Sometimes friends pass it around. So not only do you smoke, you get the secondhand smoke, kasi yung laway pa ng possible COVID is just too horrible to contemplate. So yes, ang masama nito kasi when you smoke, you don't naman smoke other people's cigarettes. But with vaping, there is a tendency to share stuff. And once you share things in this time of COVID and other illnesses, talagang marami kang na-share na iba.
How about, Doc, sa mga pregnant women, ang e-cigarette ba is also as harmful as smoking a cigarette?
Definitely, kasi cigarette smoking has been shown to be toxic, to the fetus, and talagang no-no siya talaga. Same thing with e-cigarettes, talagang no-no siya. So if you are pregnant and you are smoking, it would really be best to just stop altogether. And if you are vaping and you are pregnant, stop na rin.
So, Doc Ana, on the side note lang about sa lung cancer, when ba should we start screening for lung cancer? And sino ba yung mga dapat i-screen for lung cancer? Kasi dati, di ba, may computation kung how many pack years smoker. Eh, syempre ngayon with the vaping, how do we apply that?
Right now talaga, let's go muna to screening for traditional cigarettes, okay? How do we screen for lung cancer? The recommended screening for lung cancer is not the chest x-ray. It is a low-dose CT scan. It was developed around the year late 1990s to early 2000s. It was developed actually in Cornell. And the recommendation ngayon is a low-dose CT scan yearly or regular every few years for smokers who are traditional cigarettes ito, no? Who are the age of 50 to, some people say 75, some people say 80, no? Who have had more than 20 to 30 pack years smoking history or who have stopped smoking within the last 15 years. Why do we screen? Because we find out that traitor talaga itong lung cancer. Most of it is found out in stage 3 and stage 4. By that time, talagang ano na lang, you can no longer undergo surgical treatment and your 5-year survival rate goes down really to 5%. Whereas kung maaga siyang ma-discover, you can still undergo a surgery and your curative rate is up to 55%. So even though walang nararamdaman ng mga tao, by their history, if they have smoked for a really long time, 20 pack years, they are still the age na pwede silang maoperahan, then they should be screened with a low-dose CT scan. Ang recommendation is actually annually. And then to track changes in between. So that is really the screening for cigarette smokers. Right now, wala pa ring guidance for vapers. Kasi bata pa sila eh. I don't think anyone has really, yung age of 50 for vapers is yung long-term 20 to 30 vaping year history, wala pang ganon. Hindi pa natin naaabot yon. So we cannot really make recommendations for vapers and how to screen them right now. But definitely, no, if you've been smoking for a long time and you move to vaping, well, then you need to be screened, no? Pero yung pure vapers alone, wala pa tayong recommendation doon. So again, ayaw nating umabot sa panahon na we're discovering cancers from long-time vapers. Kasi that's the only reason why we started to screen kasi nakita na natin yung long-term side effects. So our advice is we do not know the long-term side effects and they could just be as deadly as smoking.
So, Doc Ana, who again should be screened for lung cancer po?
If you are 50 to 75 years old, some people say 80, in reasonable good health, able na maoperahan, well, definitely with a 20 to 30 pack year smoking history, and or if you stop smoking within 15 years, you should undergo a low-dose CT scan yearly.
Doc Ana, how kaya can we help those people who want to stop smoking?
We can help them by being honest talaga. Sabihin natin talaga yung totoo. Smoking is bad for you. Smoking is an addiction. We understand yung situation nyo. And talagang mahirap, no? But it can be done. Many people have done it. And unfortunately, e-cigarettes is not the way to go.
So ano yung mga options po, Doc Ana, that's available for those people who are really trying hard to stop smoking?
Alam mo, etong COVID na to is actually a golden moment for stopping smoking. Why? Okay? Kasi you're stuck in your house, okay? Nababantayan ka ng asawa mo 24/7. You have to sneak out of the house to smoke ngayon eh. So may mga taong talagang nahihirapan kasi nababantayan sila during the lockdown. Nobody could move. You're stuck in a 2-bedroom condo and your wife's nagging you to stop smoking and nakakaya naman dahil may bata. So sometimes it's situational, ano? Secondly, yung removing the social signals. That's also what the pandemic did. There are people who only smoke pag kasama yung barkada. Masaya, inuman. And then may maglalabas ng magbibigay. And then next thing you know, you smoked already 3 to 5 sticks. Yan ang tinatawag nating social smokers. With this pandemic, wala nang social occasion, okay? So stop social smoking. And then thirdly, I think it's also a realization that our lungs, ang laki ng target itong COVID na to. Kung hindi pa tayo natakot dito, I don't know na lang talaga. Kumbaga, it's a realization that the lungs are important. Sometimes, we tend to take pneumonia for granted, TB, panahon pa ni Mahoma yan. But it's a realization na talagang importante ang ating mga baga and we need to protect it. Smoking, yung immunity nyo po bababa from smoking. So it's really the pandemic has been a wake-up call for smokers also, and a good remover po of social cues for smoking. A lot of people smoke in the office, with the barkada, while drinking, on weekends, and while on vacation. Wala na lahat yun.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ana. I learned a lot, and hopefully our netizens also learned a lot. Actually, ang dami po nating netizen questions. So we will take a short break. Please don't go away.
Special thanks to Nagit Escorel Dental Clinic, Dermacare, Face Body Laser Center, Andy Passion Eyebrow Embroidery,
Welcome again to Magpahaba ng Buhay. Ako si Doc Emy and this is Mugshots Now. So let me thank again our sponsors, Dermacare Face and Body Laser, Dr. Carolina Escorel of Escorel Dental Clinic, and Andy Passion of Andy Passion Bros. So this is Vaping, Ligtas Ba with Dr. Ana York Bundoc. So ngayon, puntahan po natin, Doc Ana, ang mga questions from our netizens. Of course, Doc Ana is from Pampanga, so we have so many viewers from Pampanga. So the question from Lita of Pampanga, is vaping the new smoking, Doktora?
Yes, it is. Pinaganda lang yung pangalan. Pero it carries all the risks and all the downsides po of smoking.
Okay, yung next question po natin is from Mark of Pangasinan. So, Doc, ang question niya, paano ba rine-regulate ang vaping dito sa Pilipinas?
Well, we have to thank our government officials and the DOH and the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and also anti-smoking advocates. Talagang mapursigido sila for the public to recognize the dangers of vaping and for the government to step in. Currently, tumaas yung because of the sin tax law, the price of cigarettes has gone up and the price of vapes has also gone up, but it still remains quite affordable. One good thing that the government is doing now is nire-regulate then ang vaping similar to smoking, and vaping has also been put under the Food and Drug Administration. So talagang it is being treated as a medical substance, and there are a lot of regulations. Unfortunately, because of this, hindi naman tumitigil yung ating tobacco industry, and may sinusulong sila. They are trying to put vaping under the Department of Trade and Industry, claiming that it's a business and not a health hazard or not a health device. And also, despite having the sin tax and the executive orders from the president, sinusulong talaga nila na bawasan at bawasan yung mga regulasyon na meron tayo ngayon. So we are not actually the strictest in Asia, though we do have graphic warnings, we have the vaping under the FDA, lahat yan maganda, but we should still must strive towards further regulation. It includes yung iba kasi we still have point of sale advertising. Like when you go to the sari-sari store, pwede naman nakikita nyo pa rin eh. Sa ibang bansa, nakatago na yan under the counter. No brands are available. And the graphic warnings, halos natatakpan na talaga yung buong sigarilyo. Sa Pilipinas, we still have a long way to go. We are there already with some safeguards, kaya lang linalabanan ng industriya. And as such, we as advocates, doctors, parents, and concerned citizens, we should be aware of the dangers of vaping. But being more aware, dapat talagang aware din tayo of the industry that is trying to promote vaping dahil talagang malaking pera ito due to our large youth population. And because, as we all know, talagang it is driven by business, talagang pinapasok nila ang Pilipinas.
Okay, next question, Dr. is from Myla of Iloilo. How do I help my child stop smoking? So meron daw siyang teenager.
Yan. Siguro ang tanong dito is, I think the child is probably vaping na eh. Kasi konti na lang talaga. Well, meron pa rin, the amount of vapers has now reached the amount of smokers. Kasi in the Philippines and others, pababa na rin yung smoking. Kaya talagang pinapaakit na yung vaping because they have to earn from something. So what I should advise to parents is, number one, frank talk talaga. Yung harap-harapan at open talk with your teenagers, with your young persons, to tell them about the dangers of smoking. Pero we cannot stop there. We have to talk to them about the dangers of vaping din. Meron din sariling dangers. Iniba lang at yun ang pinagandahan yung pangalan. But again, it is not safe. And as parents, we have to realize this. Another scary thing that I wanted to bring up nga is, yung ang ganda na anyo ngayon ng mga vapes, talagang makukulay, techy, mukha siyang USB, yung iba mukhang mga computer devices. Those are the cigarettes today.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ana, for your time, and hopefully next time, no, pag na-invite namin kayo ulit, ay available po. Okay. Do you have any last words po for our netizens watching?
My last words, first of all, to parents, please be aware of the dangers. They look harmless, they look cute, they look nice, but they are deadly. For the younger persons also, please please recognize marketing for what it is. Talagang naghahanap buhay po ang mga nagtitinda ng vapes and vaping products, and their goal is to get you addicted so that you'll just keep on buying forever and ever without realizing that you are harming your lungs in the process.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ana.
Thank you, Doc Emy. Salamat po.
As the expert, health is a state of body, wellness is a state of being by J. Stanford. Thank you mga ka-mugshots, and see you every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Ako si Doc Emy Kua, dito lamang sa Mugshots Now, magpahaba ng buhay. Thank you so much to Dermacare Face and Body Laser, Dr. Carolina Escurel of Escurel Dental Clinic, and Andy Pasion of Andy Pasion Bros. Keep safe and God bless everyone.
Special thanks to Nagit Escurel Dental Clinic, Dermacare Face, Body, Laser Center, Andy Pasion Eyebrow Embroidery,